Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for being here today. Senator Hirono touched on this Qatari gift plane, and I wanted to follow up on it. Look, the bipartisan concern expressed in the lead up to and during today's hearing simply underscores how bizarre and disturbing it was to watch President Trump proudly defend his decision to create, at the very least, the pathetic appearance that our commander-in-chief can be bought by an ally of Iran and Hamas, all for the price of the Qatari royal family's luxury so-called palace in the sky. And that doesn't even address the outrageous reality that far from saving money, this unconstitutional action will not only cost our nation its dignity, but it will force taxpayers to waste over $1 billion in taxpayer dollars to overhaul this particular aircraft when we currently have not one, but two fully operational and fully capable Air Force One aircraft. Secretary Mink, I wrote a letter to you last week about the very real operational security risks involved in President Trump's unconstitutional proposal to accept a $400 million luxury aircraft from the Qatari royal family and retrofit it to serve as Air Force One. And I look forward to hearing from you and hearing your thorough response about what the Air Force has been directed to do to support this. But I have several questions for you here today. As you know, any platform used for presidential travel must be fully secure, survivable, and this is the important part, capable of supporting uninterrupted command and control under the most demanding conditions, including in the event of a nuclear crisis. This isn't just about ensuring presidential protection, though that is very important. This is about our national security and protecting all Americans from the dangers posed if the president's sensitive communications are intercepted or if he is out of contact, God forbid, with our nation's military during a crisis. Secretary Mink, General Alvin, do you concur that the upgrades required for a foreign-provided plane to meet the operational security standards of Air Force One would be significant?
Senator, thanks for the question. So the Secretary of Defense has directed the Air Force to basically start planning to modify the aircraft. We are postured to do that.
That's not my question. My question is, will you concur?
We will look at all of those. We will look at all of those. Well, we will have to look at all of those issues you just addressed in those modifications, Senator.
General Alvin, would you say that to upgrade a foreign aircraft to Air Force One standards would require significant modifications?
I align myself with the Secretary's opinion that we will be postured to make the modifications necessary.
That's not my question. My question is, do you concur that it would take significant modifications to take a civilian 747 and upgrade it to Air Force One standards?
So Senator, any civilian aircraft will take significant modifications to do so. And as I said, we're based on the Secretary's direction, we are postured and we're off looking at that right now, what it's going to take for that particular aircraft, right?
All right. If President Trump insists on converting this plane to a hardened Air Force One before 2029, I worry about the pressures you may be under to cut corners on operational security. I've already seen concerning press reports that requirements have been loosened for construction of two other Boeing 747-8s intended to modernize the Air Force One fleet that taxpayers have already been paying for to accelerate this delivery. Can I have your commitment, Mr. Secretary, that you will strongly advise the President against cutting any corners or reducing any requirements on operational security standards for any aircraft to be used as Air Force One?
So, Senator, I'm unaware of any requirements. Now, I've only been in the job 2 days, but I'm unaware of any requirement changes to the current program. And yes, we will, as we lay out the plan, we will make sure that we do what's necessary to ensure security of the aircraft. Right?
Do I have your commitment that you will advise the President not to reduce any requirements that will lower operational security for any aircraft to be used as Air Force One?
Yeah, Senator, I will be quite clear and discuss that with the Secretary up to the President if necessary if we feel there's any threats that we are unable to address.
If the President insists on this dangerous course of action, I urge you not to let this distraction, and it is a distraction, divert resources that would otherwise support delivering the two aircraft already under contract and paid for by American taxpayers in a manner consistent with our critical security standards to protect Air Force One from compromise, disruption, or attack. Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.